Hey, what is shaking, party people? I'm a middle-aged guitar noob. I waited until the sweet bloom of youth turned dry and crunchy before starting to learn an instrument. My joints are swollen, my tendons are inflamed, and both of my arms might fall off at any moment. But until that happens, I'm here to screw up, so you don't have to. Today we're going to talk about what to do when you don't know what you're doing. I feel qualified to speak on the subject based on decades of personal cluelessness and a total lack of innate ability. I'm an experienced ignoramus, y'all. Now, full disclosure, I sang in bands from the ages of 15 to 28, and I was fortunate enough to have worked with a bunch of really excellent guitarists, so I come into this slightly less than absolutely ignorant about the instrument. I even owned a guitar back then. This beautiful Mexican Telecaster I bought at a pawn shop in the best traditional rock and roll fashion.
It's a Fender Telecaster,
But it lived in our practice room until it was stolen in a studio break-in long before I had my midlife crisis. So I never took it home, and I never learned more than a few chords on it. Which brings me to today's tip. Keep your guitar accessible and ready to play. A lot of folks, when they plunk down a big wad of cash on a guitar, feel compelled to lock it away in a case or stash it in the back of a closet lest it get dirty or damaged. It's like an entire section of the population has this dormant pirate gene that only activates when they buy something valuable. And then it's time to bury the treasure.
Where did you hide the treasure, actually?
You won't catch me with those trick questions.
What follows is almost always the classic out of sight, out of mind scenario in which they forget to take it out and, play the damn thing. Like I said, my first guitar lived in our practice room. I learned a grand total of 4 chords on it and wrote 1 song before it magically morphed into the backup guitar for live gigs. I never took it home, I never took any lessons, I never even picked it up during practice to try and imitate the guitarist who's standing right in front of me. It became just another piece of occasionally useful clutter.
Does this item spark joy?
These days, I keep my guitar on a stand right next to my desk. That way, whenever the mood strikes or boredom sets in, I can get in a few minutes practice. It's not hidden from view or buried in the back of a closet. It's right within easy reach of the place where I spend most of my time.
I live in a van down by the river.
Yes, it gets dusty. Yes, I'm sure the strings would last a lot longer if I stored it when I'm not using it. Yes, whenever my friends see it, they pat me reassuringly and tell me I'll feel better once I get through menopause. I don't even have a uterus.
I think I know what's the matter. It's the change.
You mean spring is coming?
Nor do I have the kind of discipline, or frankly the memory, to dig my guitar out every single time I have a few minutes to spare. Best to just keep it out and ready.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, is that useful to you?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
If you don't already have a guitar stand, get one. They're like $10 new. And somebody's likely selling theirs on Craigslist right now for half that, along with a Sony Discman and a trunk full of unlicensed Grinch pinatas with suspicious stains on them. If you don't have a spot on the floor where your guitar stand could live on a permanent basis, or if the constant traffic of kids and pets places your guitar in constant jeopardy of being knocked over, maybe look into a wall mount. I hear really good things about String Swing's line of guitar wall hangers, so if you want to check them out, I'll pop a link in the description. You just need to remind yourself that it needs to be taken down and played and not left hanging up there like a trophy of that time you thought about learning guitar. It's not a sculpture. You gotta squeeze the art out of it with your bare hands and then wipe it off afterwards because that stuff can get sticky.
I'm with Bankman. Oh. You got slimed.
That's great, Ray. Save some for me.
Anywho, that's the accessible part. How about keeping it ready to play? You don't have to bash away at your guitar for it to fall out of tune. Things like temperature fluctuations, humidity, air pressure, these can all affect the amount of tension on the guitar's neck, which can in turn knock your tuning out of whack. So be sure to tune up before you practice. And if you break a string, go ahead and replace it right away. Not only to keep the guitar ready and playable, but also to keep up the right amount of tension on the neck. Remember, When you pop a string, the guitar's just lost pounds of tension. And if you let it stand minus strings because you don't feel like messing with it right away, there's a chance you could warp the neck. So yeah, trade in your pirate hat for some lumberjack suspenders.
The smell of fresh cut timber.
And keep that axe handy. And while you're at it, if you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe. If you're a recent or former guitar noob with some advice to share, let me know in the comments. And here's some more videos I done did that might be relevant to your interests, so check them out. Keep trying new things, y'all. Take care.